One morning, all the engines were waking up. But then, a huge sneeze woke all the engines up. Who the was that? I haven't heard of sneezing that hard since I sneezed on some boys once, Henry said. But Percy noticed something about Thomas. Thomas, you look kind of off today. Percy, I'll admit right now, I don't feel too good today, Thomas sighed. Well, you should tell Sir Topham Hatt, Percy said. Just then, the driver and fireman came to start work. They had heard Thomas was ill and quickly examined him. What do you think is wrong? Asked the fireman. Well, I don't know, said the driver. Then the Fat Controller arrived. Today is the annual Sew-Door Picnic Day, Sir Topham Hatt said. Thomas, you must pick up the children from Knapford and take them to the picnic area. Yes, sir. Thomas coughed and popped out of the sheds. But Percy was really worried about Thomas. Thomas puffed into Knapford Station. All aboard, coughed Thomas. Percy came in pulling some milk tankers. Would you like me to take your train for you? Percy asked. I don't want you to be pulling a train while you're this ill. No, Percy. I can manage on my own, Thomas said feebly, and he puffed out of the station. Thomas puffed through the countryside. Black smoke flew out of Thomas's funnel, and he was coughing, wheezing, and sneezing. I mustn't give up. The children are relying on Thomas puffed into a station to pick up more children. Edward was there. Bust my boiler, said Edward. You look dreadful, Thomas. Thomas sighed. Yes, Edward, you're right. I feel dreadful. Well, you should have a rest then, Thomas, said Edward. No, Edward, coughed Thomas. I won't stop. Just then the guard's whistle blew and Thomas puffed out the station. Thomas soon arrived at Gordon's Hill. Well, Thomas, said his driver, looks like you're going to have to climb up Gordon's Hill. Thomas was feeling awful, but he was still determined. I must do it, he said, and started puffing up Gordon's Hill. Thomas struggled and struggled up Gordon's Hill. He puffed and chucked as hard as he could. You can do it, Thomas, called his driver. At last, Thomas came to a halt. Coughed Thomas. I can't do it. Percy saw Thomas was stuck. Are you all right? Percy asked. No, said Thomas feebly. I'm stuck. Don't worry, said Percy. I'll push you to your destination. Thomas sighed. I don't think you can, Percy. After all, you're pulling a train. Don't worry, said Percy. I will do anything for my best friend. Percy gently bustled up to Clarabelle and began to push. It wasn't easy pushing Thomas, Annie, and Clarabelle and pulling a milk train, but Percy was determined. Percy tried as hard as he could, but the train didn't move. So Percy went back to try again. Percy struggled and struggled and struggled. But then, as if by magic, Thomas's wheels began to move. Percy kept on pushing and pushing and pushing. You're doing it, Percy! You're doing it! Hooray! Finally, Thomas and Percy pulled into the station. Sir Topham Hatt was on the platform. He spoke to both engines. Well done, Percy, said Sir Topham Hatt. Despite you were pulling a milk train, you still managed to push Thomas to the station. Then he turned to Thomas. And Thomas, he said, I'm sorry I made you work while you were ill. That's all right, sir, Thomas said. However, despite you were ill, you still tried to pull the train. You are both really useful engines.
Oh, thank you, sir!